begin in a couple of minutes. So this webinar is in collaboration with QFIS. QFIS is a mentorship platform with a community of experts who can guide individuals in their journey. So QFIS also hosts a lot of coaching and workshops on different topics to enhance the skills of students. So I'm going to drop in their link in the chat section. So if anybody is looking for a one-to-one with amazing mentors like Sadaf, you all can definitely reach out to them. So for those of you all who don't know, Sadaf is currently working as a staff consultant at Oracle. Sadaf, we are very excited for this webinar because working at such a beautiful organization that everybody's heard of, Oracle. So we're very interested to know about your journey, and especially a lot of our students are from the tech background. So they'd like to get a couple of insights and pro tips from you as well.
Yeah, sure.
Lovely. So I think we can begin. Sadaf, can you give us a small introduction about yourself? Can you tell us what did you study and what are you currently doing in the field?
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Sadaf Sultan. I graduated in 2018 from Government College of Engineering and Textile Technology, Berhampur. And I did BTech in Computer Science and Engineering, and I got placed in Oracle in the placement drive. And I joined Oracle as associate consultant, and I got promoted 6 months back, and right now I'm a staff consultant there.
That's amazing. So you're currently working as a consultant at Oracle. So how is the work culture and the experience working at Oracle?
Oracle is really amazing. I joined as a fresher there. So it actually provided me with all the necessary trainings as soon as I joined, which was needed for the skills that I'll be working on there. And apart from that, working knowledge, when you get actually when you are in that project itself, right? So there, the mentors and the seniors are too helpful there. You get a lot of opportunities to learn on the job more actually, and it's really amazing working there. Apart from
Lovely.
that, you get a lot of perks, like you don't have fixed working hours there. You can, all that they need is the job is to be done by you, and there is no work hour restriction there. It's really amazing working there.
That's lovely. So you joined from college as for the internship and then or directly for the job?
I was placed by during the placement drive that took place.
Okay. So can you tell us what are the roles and responsibilities of a staff consultant?
Yes, basically I'm working for Oracle's banking product FlexCube. That for that I develop and enhance the product basically for the South America region. I do all kind of front end and back end development work with a lot of tech that JavaScript, XML, PLSQL, Java. So these are the few technologies I've been currently working with there. And apart from that, as a staff consultant, you get a lot of independent work there, and you also get opportunities to mentor the juniors there.
Okay, that's very interesting. So
Yeah.
I must ask so we have a lot of students who are from the programming background or in the tech sector. And often when they apply to, different organizations post college, they want to know what are the, skills or projects or, programming languages that are important for them to know by the industry. So let's start off with the first thing of programming languages. Can you tell us what are the programming languages required by the industry today?
See, tech industry itself is so vast. There are like hundreds and thousands of programming languages available currently, and each day you get to hear some of the other new programming languages. But if we see currently, Python, Java, Kotlin, JavaScript, Go, Ruby, Swift, these are few of the languages in trend these days. But I would suggest that students should actually have a good knowledge in procedural language, at least one, and one of the object-oriented programming language. Apart from this, they should also have a knowledge in a query language like, SQL, MySQL, TSQL, PLSQL. These are the few languages. So I suggest that if one want to know programming languages, pick anyone from among these, have a good grasp on them, and then proceed further.
Okay. And a lot of times, is it better to like focus on one particular language, or be jack of all trades? Is that what's required by the industry, or do they select for a specific programming role?
If you're applying for a particular role, that role will itself define what skills is actually needed by them. So if they're asking for Java, you must be good in Java. Basically, if you should actually pick one of the programming languages in trend currently, or anyone in which you are good, because learning a programming language isn't that tough. Is all that is needed is you must have a good knowledge of how to code.
Right.
Programming language can be learned very easily.
Okay. Coming to projects, now projects are also very equally important because when you're applying for an internship or you're applying for a job, they often look at your resume and expect students to have projects. So can you throw a little bit of light on, what kind of projects can students develop?
Yes, even for projects, since tech industry offers you a lot of options, like currently you have Internet of Things, you have Android, you have data science, then you have web development, robotics, machine learning, all of these. So if you want, you can pick any among from these fields, and you can have or develop a project on any of these. But for that, obviously, any one of these fields which aligns your interest, you must have this set of skills that is needed to proceed with any of these project if you want to do.
Okay. So I think when I was going through your profile as well, you have a very keen interest in designing algorithms, data science, databases, and programming as well, especially Android app development. So how did you learn about each of these domains, and do you have any advice for students who also want to, move into these fields?
See, I would suggest at initial level, you must be having a good knowledge of programming. So when I was in high school, actually, I got interest into programming. I started learning data structures back then, and that actually helped me take computer science for my BTech. This interest later on grew much more. I started doing competitive codings on a lot of platforms that's available. I started researching more about algorithms, learning them, and as well as implementing those algorithms as well. About data science, I think I got the interest in third year when there was quite a surge in machine learning projects and everything being done by students. So even I was so enthusiastic about learning machine learning then. So I started researching, learning on my own, and that helped me bag a summer research fellowship in one of the good colleges. I did a project there, and even later on, I took a final year project in data science itself. Uh, uh, and the all other fields, I would say, as and when my interest grew, I kept on learning them, and not just learning them, applying them in all the projects that I have done throughout my BTech career, I would say.
That's very interesting. It's nice that you understood. Okay, you enjoy doing this, and you built along those lines. And you said I think you learned on your own as well. So are there a couple of like websites or platforms that they can also learn specifically for projects or building up their skills?
Yes, for projects and all, data science based projects or data science based researchers that goes on. You have Kaggle for that. You have a lot of open source opportunity as well. You would find it on Google. Google has its own open source projects available. Then there are GitHub. GitHub is a big repository for all sort of open source projects. You can start contributing there. Uh, Rest of the project ideas you can like Google up and find. But I would say that if you have ideas of your own, do use those ideas to participate into a lot of hackathons that keeps on going on. You would find one or the other hackathons happening around India or the world. And there are websites like HackerEarth, TechGig, Skillenza. These are the few websites that I would like look up on and post my ideas there. If you know what your ideas, if it gets selected, they will provide you the resources and everything, and you can use it to develop that idea into a project.
Brilliant, brilliant. They are very good platforms. And I think I need to ask, how important is it for GitHub and Stack Overflow, students to have these kind of profiles, especially for tech students when they're sitting for placements or even jobs? Do recruiters actually look at these profiles?
Yes, if you have your GitHub and Stack Overflow profiles mentioned in your resume, the recruiters will definitely have a look on these. These are the platforms that you can showcase your knowledge in IT. You can also help contributing towards the IT, so the community that it is. So if you have contributed this way, it's bound to catch the attention of the recruiter if you mention your profiles on the
And they can see
resume.
what you have done.
Yes, yes.
All right. So, what are the skills also required for somebody who wants to pursue like the field of programming and coding? Any skills that you feel are very important for students to have?
Yeah, first of all, I would suggest that you must have the logic building skill. Logic, if you cannot have, or you cannot understand how to put a program, a question or a program question into a solution, you cannot like code it into using any of the programming language. So firstly, you must build a logic. Like even for suppose you want to sum two numbers, right? So you must actually know that you will be needing two numbers and an operand to sum it up, right? So this logic building is the first and foremost part that I would suggest that one must have if they want to become a good coder. Apart from this, you must have a good command on data structures like arrays, linked lists, queues. So you must have a good grasp on this. And then algorithms. Without algorithms, you know that nothing runs. So you must actually have a good command on algorithms as well. Learning algorithms and implementing it at the same time is very important. It will help you understand how actually an algorithm works. Must learn a language and try implementing those algorithms into any of the language that you think that is good.
Okay. Um, any ideas? So a lot of students, when they are, when they study programming, they want to apply for internships and to different kinds of organizations. So, do you have a couple of pro tips on, where can students apply and how can they find these programming related internships?
Major firms like Google, Microsoft, these if you visit their websites, you can like find a lot of internship opportunities. So you can post your resume and apply for the internships there. Apart from that, there are various platforms like Internshala that almost post all the internships related to computer science. Apart from that, all the IITs and the major institutes in the country itself provide you a lot of research-based internships. So one can visit those also and apply there. LinkedIn also is another job portal where you can apply for a lot of internships.
Yeah, I think a platform like LinkedIn are also coming up a lot. We see a lot of students, updating their profiles there. Do you have any pro tips on helping tech students build their resumes?
Yes, sure. It's important to have a good resume, first of all. So I know most of you sitting at home have done a lot of certifications during this pandemic. Yes, certification will obviously help you grow in skills. You can list those skills in your resume. Apart from that, those skills, if you haven't applied it or showcased it in your projects or other research-based projects, that won't be helpful. So start applying those skills into projects, and those projects you can mention in your resumes. Apart from that, do internships, do get into internships from the second year itself. The more number of internships you have, the more idea you will have how actually tech industry work. You'll know how the development cycle works there, and it will obviously help you your resume get a lot of weight. Apart from that, you can participate in coding championships, hackathons. There are a lot of project competitions that keeps on going. Those you can mention in your resumes. You can participate or contribute to the open source projects, and have those mentioned in your resumes as well.
Brilliant. Mentees, if you have any questions, you can post in the Q&A section. We will be coming to the questions post the part that we have currently. So can you, Sadaf, can you also tell us what are the other departments and domains students can move into? Because a lot of students, if they're from the CSE background or the ECE background, the minute they're done with college and they apply to different organizations, there are so many domains that open up that not everyone knows about. So can you throw a little bit of light on what are the tech domains students can move into?
See, firstly, tech domain can be divided into product based and service based, right? Product based companies basically have their own products, and services are like some other firms that require a kind of IT service. There are companies that are ready to provide those. So this way, apart from this, you have the research and development domain. They're like ranging from data science to robotics to a lot of other, like you see a new tech coming each day. You can go into those domains as well. You have healthcare domain, where like you can build softwares for the hospitals. You can have those client maintenance done through computers, and then you have fintech background, like the banking, the investment banking, stock market, data analytics and all there is quite booming right now. You have again data science as the domain that's currently booming, right? These, and again you have all the other tech giant companies. They provide a lot of options and opportunities ranging from services to products, and a lot of R&D also goes in that. So you can obviously go and be a part of those companies as well.
Definitely, I definitely agree. The tech industry has always been booming and it'll always be in demand. So there's no such thing as two less programmers in the world. Lovely. So we can go to a couple of questions. So somebody's asking, how tough is it for a fresher to apply to any of the top tech companies through off-campus placement?
It is actually not tough. If you have a good resume, you're bound to get a call. And once you get a call, you should be actually prepared for it. You must have a good grasp on data structure and algorithms, because this is the basic that they require from anybody who's applying to those. And also they will ask you about any programming language in which you are comfortable to code in. Try to practice a lot of code on pen and paper itself, because they will not provide you with IDs and all when you apply for these tech giants.
Okay. Can you tell us a couple of very questions that keep repeating in the interviews? So, like you mentioned, they allow you to, come up with any programming language that you're comfortable with. Any question that keep recurring for, the coding interviews that you were asked and that are constantly asked for programming students?
Basic questions is they will keep you asking the basic algorithms, like sorting. There are various kind of sortings available right currently. So they will be juggling amongst those. They will provide you a scenario, or they will provide you with a situation, and that you have to tackle using a code. So you can find a lot of these kind of questions available on a lot of platforms like Geek for Geeks and all.
Okay. So Samiksha is also asking, are there any interesting projects in your opinion in the data science sector that they can work on?
Yes, all the good projects and all the good ideas are available on Kaggle. Currently, whatever, even the IBM Watson, that has become an open source platform. Currently, I even saw that Ecodot was looking for some ideas on this data science itself. So you can find these projects currently across a lot of platforms, and you can provide your ideas and develop there.
Okay. I think data science is also a very upcoming thing. A lot of people are looking for, data scientists and data analysts. So lovely. So Sharaf is asking, web designing or app development, what is best for a job right now? I think which is
Both
in more
are
demand.
yeah, actually both are currently in demand. App development is also in demand currently because no time soon we are getting rid of this Android phones, and these companies like Netflix and Amazon, these will obviously have a web-based platform. It will always be. So both have their equal demands and both will be blooming, because even for web development you come across a lot of new technology that's coming up. So at no time soon I don't find that any of the demand of these will be down.
Okay. So Soumya is asking how to apply for a product-based company for those students who have colleges with no campus placement.
Those companies will obviously have their own career portals. You can browse through that, look for a profile that suits your qualification and the skills you have, and you can easily apply there. It's not gonna scrutinize on the basis of your college, or it will obviously just look for the skills that you're having, and if it matches with what they need, they are surely gonna reach you out.
Okay. She's also asking, do companies take students through coding competitions?
Yes, of course. There are a lot of platforms that does this. There is HackerRank, there is Hacker Earth, TechGig. These few of these, I think that they provide a lot of opportunities, uh, and you can apply there, and you can join. Obviously, go through the coding rounds and.
Okay. Somebody's also asking, does UI UX have scope?
Yes, UI UX is also blooming these days. There are new techs coming for these two. So, you cannot have any of the back end working without a UI. So will always be in the need.
Definitely. And I think a lot of these are were not very famous at that point of time, but they're upcoming right now. Like a lot of people are looking for UI UX designers, and it's very interesting to see a lot of new
Yes, it
roles
is.
coming up now.
Yes, it
Lovely.
is.
So, we have a couple of students, I think, who are in school as well, and they want to know the difference between the IT industry, data science, and computer science industry. Is there any difference?
Data science industry is basically nothing but artificial intelligence driven techs that are being developed, and computer science actually deals with all the other. So data science, you just not necessarily be linked to any of these CSE background or anything. Even data science is providing opportunities to MBAs, and if you have that, what is required for the data to be handled, so you can be in that industry.
Okay. Someone's also asking, do companies hire students based upon the knowledge in the development side, or is it okay if they're not too strong with data structures?
I would suggest that you must be sound in data structures, because that is what is currently in demand, that you actually at least have the basics clear, because be it any of the industry, you will have to code, you will have to program, and if your basics aren't clear, that will be a problem.
Okay. I think that's absolutely right. Like, it's better to get your basics foundation strong and then move up.
Yes, correct.
Um, yeah. So, a couple of questions are, is it necessary to learn XML for backend?
XML for backend is actually what from the front end goes to the backend is wrapped in XML. So XML for backend depends that currently a lot of other texts are being used, like JSON and all are in place. So not necessarily that you have to use XML only.
Okay. Sharaf is also asking for web design, front end or back end or full stack, which is more in demand right now? Is it better to be good at front end, back end, or better at both?
If you are amazing in any one of this, you can obviously get into that particular field itself. So not necessarily that you have to be completely good in the full stack, but obviously full stack is always in demand. So if you actually know how everything functions is what is needed.
Okay. Can you tell us in your role what all like programming languages or softwares that you need to use on a daily basis?
Yes. So like for front end, currently we are using JavaScript. We are using XML for web services, and backend we program using PLSQL, and SQL must be very clear for that. And the middleware uses Java, so a good knowledge in Java is also required for my profile.
Are there any specific tools and softwares that you're required to use? I think Oracle has their own softwares.
Yes, I think only the knowledge of this tech stack is important. There's no specific tools that being used currently. Few of the development tools are already present that I'm not aware if it's currently on the market or not. I'm actually not aware of that. It's completely being used for the product development itself. That's it. And rest of the things are like open source. Everything is already available.
Okay, all right. So somebody's asking very important, Abhay is asking very important question. What is the difference between Java and JavaScript?
Okay, so JavaScript is basically a language that helps you uh, uh, web development. You're aware of, right? So making those dynamic web pages is actually needed. So JavaScript does nothing but helps in interacting with the front end. And Java basically is used as a middleware that you can say, communicating from the front end to the back end. Not only that, Java can be used in a lot of other platforms like, big data and all, dealing with what's there in the back end and manipulating that, everything that you can do using Java. But JavaScript particularly is being used as from web development to make dynamic web pages.
Okay. So somebody's also asking, is Java programming in demand right now? Core Java programming. Sada? Yeah, sorry, I think we lost you for a bit. Can you hear me? I think you're mute. Yes. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, perfect. We can hear you. So he's also asking, is core Java programming in demand right now?
Yes, Java is in demand currently. Android apps are built on that, though there is quite a shift from Java to Kotlin these days. But Java is being used there, and any of the middleware that's being used. If you're aware of, I don't know if people are aware of WebLogic and all. Even there, Java is required. In big data, also apart from Python, the Java is used. So Java will be in demand for quite a long time, I think.
Okay. What is your opinion of the scope of cybersecurity in India? So Tari Gopala is asking.
Ethical hacking will be there for a very long time, has been there already, and you can have courses done on ethical hacking. Even there are companies that provide cybersecurity solutions. there are a lot of companies that I've come across looking for cybersecurity specialists and all. So there is a scope, because these companies not only get projects from India, they get projects from outside as well. So as long as these companies are there in India, there will be scope for cybersecurity.
Okay. I still see a lot of questions related to what are the most important languages in demand right now. So I think the mentees probably joined late. So can you just throw a little bit of light on what are the languages in demand by the industry right now?
Yes, currently Python, as you all know, is being very much used. Apart from this, there is Java, Kotlin, Go, Swift, Ruby. These are the few languages. Even JavaScript. JavaScript is being used in a lot of platforms, you know. So these are the languages in trend these days.
Lovely. So somebody's also asking a question, are marks important? I think every, engineering or any student always has this question about marks. So CGPA marks, how important are they when people are sitting for placements or interviews?
Most companies looking for recruitments, they have these things mentioned while going for placements, right? So minimum of 6 CGPA is what I have always come across. So you must be not having any backlogs, and you must have at least 6 CGPA is what is needed by most of the companies. Though there are few companies that look for higher CGPAs as well. So for that companies, I think that marks do matter.
Okay. Somebody also wants to know, a company like Oracle, do they only come to, placements and recruit people, or do they also recruit offline, and do they recruit through coding competitions as well?
I'm not aware of coding competitions. I think Oracle is not, but yeah, I have come across few of the coding that they host on their own, not on any of the platforms. But yes, their career portals will definitely have openings if available that fits for the profile.
Okay. So Sharaf is also asking, which I think we have a lot of students from different backgrounds, EC as well. So he's asking, I'm from an EC background, and if I want to go into a software side, from a non-CSE background, going into a software background, how easy and how can they prepare to, be ready for the software industry?
Be good with logic development. You must know how to actually frame a problem and at least write a pseudocode on that. Apart from that, you must be aware of at least one language that is needed. And rest, most of the trainings are provided on the job, so you will go through that. But all you have to do is apply for the profile that you want.
Okay. So Samiksha is also asking, I think she's very interested in getting placed in Nokia. What are the skills required and what is needed to get placed in, a company like Nokia or any phone company in this aspect, I think in the software aspect of it?
Depends on what profile you're talking about. If you're looking for tech-based industries, so you will have to have a good knowledge on telecommunication. You must have a good grasp on that. You must be aware of networking and all. So if you're going into those kind of profiles, these are the basic skills that you'll be needing. Apart from that, not only I think that there are other job profiles also that they look for if they're doing now they're more making even Android phones. So they might be having their own apps and all. So they might look for Android developers as well. So for that, again, you must be aware of Java and all. These are the few things that depends on.
Okay. So somebody's asking, how can we leverage LinkedIn to land an interview in any company? Like, how do we approach company employees and the designations of people on LinkedIn? Like, should we be looking at the designation of people to approach a particular company?
There are technical recruiters on LinkedIn. You can join them, can connect with them, and they mostly if there is vacancies in their companies, they keep on posting it on LinkedIn. So through that, you can come across, or you can know that there is a vacancy, and you can send your resumes to them directly via LinkedIn.
Okay. So Abhay is also asking, how did you prepare yourself, like for the campus selection for Oracle, and how were you selected? So can you run us through like what were the recruitment processes, and how did you prepare for it? Sorry, I think we lost Sadaf. Sadaf, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. So Abhay was asking, how did you prepare yourself for the Oracle interview, and what were the recruitment rounds, and what was your preparation style for it?
So I went through quite a lot of rounds actually. Initially, there was a test that I had to give. The test mostly comprised of aptitude, as well as there were questions from Java, there were questions from data structures, and there were a lot of algorithm based questions, some sorting questions, some heaps or binary tree search questions. So I had to like have a good knowledge on these. When I cleared this test, uh, I was preparing for data structures and Java, because they mentioned it that they are looking for people who have good skills in these actually. So I started preparing in these, and interview rounds where like they asked questions on SQL, they asked me to write queries on paper, they asked me to write code snippet on Java, they asked me to write some sorting algorithms as well. Apart from these, they kept on. I kept on. There were a lot of rounds that had those soft skills questions as well. HR questions. So you must be thorough with those as well.
Okay, and was this like a 1 day process, or did it take a multiple days?
No, the test was for a day, and rest of these interview took another 1 day. So there were like 4 rounds of total for the interview.
Okay, and
And
was
a funny
sorry.
thing that I came across was that even in the HR round, they ask you coding questions. So
Yeah,
yes,
I think in an
you have
organization
to be
that's heavily
prepared for.
based.
You have to be
Yeah.
prepared for anything there.
Okay. Was
Also,
Oracle your dream company, or were you trying to apply for any other organizations as well?
yes, I did apply for all the other tech giants as well. I applied for Google and all as well. There were other companies like Wipro, TCS visiting our college, but Oracle being one of the major companies, I sat for this interview and luckily I cleared. So yes, I joined
Definitely,
Oracle then.
definitely. That's absolutely amazing. Although I think the interview rounds must have tired you a lot, and the whole coding aspect, but it's amazing to hear your journey as well. So somebody's also asking related to which is better, online internship or offline, like from a company?
Online internships, I'm not aware of like what kind of internships are those. There are other marketing based and all these kind of internships that goes on around. So if these internships, if you're looking into, not aware, but if it's actually a computer science based internship or online internships, then yeah, you can go for that too, because you will obviously get the opportunity to develop something there. Offline, I would suggest, is always good, because there you get an opportunity to actually see how the development goes on in such a big firm. You get to collaborate with teams. You see how a team actually works, how there are different cycles of development, development, testing, and everything goes on there. You see that how much of effort is needed, and how everybody contributes to a big project.
Definitely. So they're also asking, what was your final year project about?
My final year project was actually gene selection of cancer patients. I had data of a lot of cancers like leukemia and all, and from those data, I looked into which of the genes will be helpful for is actually causing the cancer in a patient. So this was the whole project that I did for the final
That
year.
sounds very interesting. I don't think anyone would have thought about it, but it's very nice that you had come up with something very diverse, because a lot of times people focus only on very easy projects as a final year project. So it's amazing that you worked on something related to cancer patients and the genes aspect of it as well.
Yeah, later on, this project, after I completed this project, I got this published in one of the conference papers, and it's available actually.
That's amazing, lovely. So, research papers and publishing a paper also important for engineering students?
Yes, if you are interested into research, is obviously important. Also, if you want to pursue higher studies, it's helpful for getting into good institutes. There are few institutes, even foreign in the foreign, where these having a good publication matters a lot in getting in admissions there. Apart from these, there are all the research and development based profiles, job profiles, looks for if you have any publications mentioned in your name.
Okay, definitely. So I most of the questions, mentees, that you all have already asked, you've already answered earlier in the session. So we will provide you with the recording in case you missed out on that. We'll wrap up with one last question on what does a recruiter look for in a resume and student when someone approaches for a tech company? Sadaf, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So we'll just wrap up with the last question of what does a recruiter look for, in a
Am I
student in a
audible?
resume? Yes. Can you hear me? Yes, Sadaf, can you hear me? No, I think we'll just wait for a couple of minutes till Sadaf joins back. Yes. Can you hear me? No worries. I think you're on mute.
Yes, I can hear you now.
We'll just wrap up with the last question that somebody posted. Can you tell us what does a recruiter look for in a resume and a student for somebody applying in the tech domain? Sadaf?
Nicole, am I audible?
Yes. Are you able to hear me? Sorry, I think there's a little bit of a network connectivity. Are you able to hear me? Sadaf, I think we can see you. So, are you able to hear me?
Yeah. Yes, I am.
Okay, all right. We just wanted to wrap up the
Yes.
session. So, do you have any advice for students who want to, like, the students who are in the tech sector? Okay, I'm really sorry, Mentis. I think it's a little bit of a connectivity issue. Um, we'll just wait for Sadaf to join us for a couple of last few words before we wrap up the session. Yes, Sadaf, can you hear me now? Ravi, I think you're on mute. Yeah, so we
Yes,
just
I
want to wrap up.
can.
Do you have a couple of last words and advice for the students in the tech domain on how to build their resumes and prepare for interviews in this sector as well?
Yes, begin with having a good command on data structure algorithms. I would suggest this the first step that you should take. Learn a programming language, anyone in which you are suitable or comfortable in coding. Use that to program and implement all the algorithms and data structures that you have learned. Do projects. Certifications are also important, but use those skills into projects as well. You can mention those projects in your resumes. You can add those projects on GitHub. you know Apart from that, there are a lot of hackathons and all. Keep an open eye for those as well. Apply on for those, participate on those in those, because that those help you get a lot of learning opportunity as well, because you get to meet other students from the same domain, so the same learning computer science and doing projects as well. So you get to see that how everybody is implementing their ideas there. Have a good crisp resume. Apart from that, read a lot, research a lot as well, I would say, because what all is that is being taught currently in the colleges, because the college, I have myself faced this issue. Colleges does not have a proper syllabus that will make you like
Yeah,
complete
that,
with
that
the
prepares you for the
scientific
industry.
knowledge. Yes, they won't prepare you for the industry. So research a lot as well, and
Love
reach
it.
out to people, mentors. They will help you grow. They will help you with the knowing the current trends and all. So yes, these will be my advice to all the students there.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Sadaf. It was a very informative session. A lot of questions that the mentees also asked. Thank you so much for answering them. It was a brilliant session. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you, Nicole, for having me there.
Thank you. Wish you all the very best. And mentees, we hope you got a lot of your doubts and questions answered. And wish you guys all the very best as well. And stay safe.
Yeah, all the
Thank you,
best.
Sadaf.
Bye bye.
Bye. Good night.
Good night.